Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I'm going to tell you about Australia, and I will discuss 4 points about Australia. The first, history, and the second, the culture, and the third, health, and the fourth, education, economic, and politics. And the first, history. In 1606, European immigrants who came to the Australian continent were Dutch. However, in the late 18th century, Britain occupied the continent, making it an exile for criminals. In the mid of 19th century, gold mines were discovered in Australia and the continent was full of immigrants. Since then, they fought for independence to rule Australia itself, apart from British control. Until recently, Australia was part of the British Commonwealth. On the 1st January 1901, these 5 colonies were turned into federation, and the Commonwealth of Australia was founded. Since the days of federation, Australia has maintained political system liberal democratic, stable, and it's part of the upward Commonwealth. And secondly, culture. Since 1788, Australia's culture base has been heavily influenced by Western Anglo-Celtic culture. Unique cultural features also emerged from Australia's natural, indigenous environment. Since the mid-20th century, American popular culture has profoundly influenced Australia, particularly through television and cinema films. Other cultural influences came from Asian countries and the proud massive immigration from non-English speaking countries. This is the picture about this is the picture one of the recognized UNESCO buildings and this art. There are 3 points about cultural, namely art, habit, and food. Art. Australian art dates back to prehistoric times. This includes Aboriginal colonial landscape artworks, early 20th century painters, printmakers, photographers, and contemporary art. Melbourne, Perth, and Sydney were also asked to become the three main cities that would represent and become a benchmark for the development of arts in Australia. Habit. The habits of Australians who really like sports, handshake, by first name, barbecue, typing, eye contact, gesture, and they are known for their discipline. Food. The characteristics of Australian food may still fit the Indonesian tongue because this typical Australian food is not much different from European food menus. This is the picture of art, and that is a picture of food and habit. Next, the third fact. This is facts about Australia. Fact 1. In Australia, there are more kangaroos than people. Fact 2. The name Australia comes from the Latin Terra Australis or Southern Land. Fact 3. Australia has 10% of the world's biodiversity and a large number of native plants, animals, and birds found nowhere else in the world. Fact 4. Australia is one of the oldest land masses in the world and has been inhabited by humans for about 16,000 years. And the next, education. The education system in Australia is divided into 3 sectors, namely primary education, and then secondary education and tertiary education. Is divided into 2 types, namely PET or vocational education and training or vocational education higher education sectors university. The Australian education system is one of the highest standard and enjoy international recognition. Our school develops students' skills and confidence. Australian university graduates excel at cutting-edge research and innovation and vocational and technical education to promote a booming industrial sector. Australia is also one of the world's leading providers of education and training for international students. So, so it's not wonder that many foreign students are flocking to study here. And the next, economic. Australia is one of the strongest economies in the world, with economic growth for nearly two consecutive decades and unemployment falling to its lowest level in a generation. As a result of nearly 3 decades of structural and policy reforms, the economy is now flexible, resilient, and increasingly integrated with global markets. Economic researches. Mining sector, agriculture, animal husbandry, information technology and telecommunication, financial service, legal service, competitive location, has close to Asia and other environment, American European business. Politics. Australia is constitutional monarchy with federative division of power. The Australian government adopts a parliamentary system with Queen Elizabeth II as the pinnacle of leadership, namely the Queen of Australia. There are three branches of government in Australia. The first legislature, the Australian Parliament consisting of the Governor-General, Senate, and House of Representatives. The second, executive. Federal Executive Council, or practically speaking, is the Governor-General who is advised by the Prime Minister and the State Minister. The third, judiciary. The Supreme Court of Australia and other federal courts who judge are appointed by the Governor-General on Council advice. This is the atmosphere of government, and then picture cooperation with Indonesia. Future plans. Australia is committed to building a culture of innovation to make best use of national and international information networks, encouraging creativity in all forms of research, promoting collaboration between university and industry researchers, and disseminating research results to the wider community. This is the picture of kangaroo, and then this is the picture of native to Australia. I think that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.